All right. Um, I wanted to talk a little bit today about, there's so many articles and things that have seemed to be coming toward me in my inbox and other places about aging well. And it could be my age, suddenly I'm in that gray-haired aging well stage of life. But one of the things that it seems to be very consistent in all of the things that I receive from my nursing realms and all sorts of realms is that movement is the spice of life, right? It is what's going to keep us as able-bodied as we can be and able-minded too. It's very good for our cognitive health to exercise. Um, but it's just the basics of it is just don't stop moving, just keep swimming like Dory I think her name was Dory the fish in Finding Nemo, like just keep moving. Um, so, when you break that down a little bit, there's all sorts of aspects of movement that are important. And most of it we can get from our yoga practice, maybe not sprinting and, getting that high intensity heart rate raising thing. That doesn't usually happen so much in our yoga practice, nor does like lifting heavy weights happen in our yoga practice. But besides those two aspects of, like endurance and sprint training and heavy lifting, we get so much of what we need through our yoga practice. So if you kind of break out movement into all of its aspects, the things that I think that yoga really shines at are a few things. One, functional movement patterns. When we move in yoga, we're not just sitting here, doing a bicep curl. We're doing functional movement patterns. We're moving our body in wholeness. And you take it for granted that all the bending over and the rising back up and then getting up and down off the floor and all these things that we do really require a lot of functionality, that if we are just living our everyday lives, we need a lot of these movements, and yoga's got us covered for a lot of functional movement practices. And the other really good thing that yoga does is fascial hydration. When we think of our fascial body as our whole being, if you took away everything else besides your connective tissue, you'd still look exactly the same way you do. Maybe a little flompy without those bones in there, but the fascial our fascia is our scaffolding of every single part of us. Our blood vessels are wrapping around every organ and bone, and of course through our muscles and tendons and ligaments and all that. So hydrating our fascia and keeping it supple is a really big aspect of what our yoga practice does. Joint mobility. Every single time we step onto the mat, we try to touch every joint in our body and mobilize every joint in our body to some extent. Um, and then, of course, balance and stability, such important aspects of our aging process. And it's just built right in there with the yoga practices that we always are doing. And then last, the sense of rest and recovery, that, part of our movement health is also learning how to rest and knowing when to rest and restoring ourselves, recovering ourselves. So I just love that yoga has all of these things encompassed into it. And that's only a small little piece of what yoga does for us, let alone the breath work and the mind work and everything else. But it's really a beautiful thing. So if you're ever wondering, is yoga really supporting my physical health, or is it just my mental health? It's doing all of that for you. So, blessings on our practice and the way it keeps us healthy and strong. Okay. All right. So let's close our eyes and take a moment to ground yourself and just feel yourself in space. Probably my very favorite gift of yoga is just the capacity to be centered and present and breathing. Right? So give yourself the opportunity, it might be the only opportunity in your day today, if you have a busy day ahead, where you can turn inward and slow down and savor presence. So as you feel yourself in space, align your posture well. Give yourself the body framing that most supports breath. So place yourself in a good place for breathing. Once you have your body organized, turn your attention toward your breath and just see what's here today. Are you breathing well? Are you breathing not so well? Is this the first time you've paid attention to your breath so far today? Give yourself some time to stretch the breath out a little bit, to let your body kind of position itself to accommodate the fullness of breath. Notice if there's any barriers, if there's any blockades or, you know, congested places, where you're kind of blocking the full mobility of the organs of breathing. So think of your diaphragm, obviously your lungs too, all the muscles around your rib cage, all the way up into your neck and all the way down into your belly, to the front of your body and the back of your body. Just kind of scan and notice if there's any place hindering the breath. Is there any place that can relax a little bit more, that you can offer comfort and ease to yourself? And when you're ready, bring your hands to your heart and let's offer an intention here. Do you need more rest? Do you need more strength? Do you need more stability and balance? Do you need more mobility and hydration? What is it that you need in your physical body today? Can you focus on that? What is it that you need in your mind, in your heart today? And release your hands. And we'll find our way onto our back. So as you stretch out and lengthen on the floor, such a beautiful way, I think, to begin a practice by just having a moment of rest, to kind of reset the capacity in our body to recognize that rest is just as important as all the movement that we do. Feel the ground, feel grounding. Just let yourself sink a moment. Find your breath in this pattern. A little different to be horizontal and on the ground. Our breathing shifts, so notice that. And then when you're ready, stretch your arms overhead and let's find some movement here. So stretching the right side, stretching the left, and just to welcome in that openness through your sides. And then when you're ready, bring your knees into your chest. All right, and let's circle the knees, kind of rolling your knees one direction. Feel a sense of ease in your hip joints. Relax your legs as best as you can. Go the other direction. And then we'll open up your knees away from the middle, bring them back in, and just enjoy that range of motion in your hips. And some of this joint mobility and fascial hydration happens, kind of in unison with each other. Okay, right knee and left leg long on the ground, and let's move around in our ankles and our feet. Be very mindful to keep your head relaxed. Our upper body often wants to help. See if you can just let it relax. Wiggle those toes, move around in your ankles, stretch your Achilles, and then switch sides, left knee and right leg long on the ground, and we'll feel some mobility here in our ankles. Keep resting your head and your shoulders. Try to wiggle every little joint in your foot as best as you can. Find every joint in your foot to open up and release. There's a lot of fascia in our feet. There's a lot of joints in our feet. There's a lot of need for our feet to be mobile and strong for our movement and for our balance. And then stretch open to a star, reaching your limbs really wide. Let's roll your wrists now along with your ankles. A few rolls each direction, and then maybe open and close your fingers and your fists. Get your hands to free up. And then a big stretch broadly outward, stretch to your edges, and on your exhale, draw in knees to your chest and let your back round. One more time, a big breath in, expand, open, and as you exhale, close in. Put your feet on the ground, put your arms in a cactus so that you can just sense into that shoulder range for right now. Take your feet hip width or maybe a little wider, and let's windshield wiper our knees left and right. Just gently starting to warm up the spine, the hips, the back. If you want to swing your top leg over a little farther, feel free to deepen the twist in that way as you go back and forth from one side to the other. And then relax. Let's roll to our left side. Take your hands together and we're going to roll open into a twist here. So turn your head, open up that right arm behind you, and then bring it back in. And just getting some rib cage movement, upper thoracic spine movement, your neck, your shoulder. Just getting some simple mobility as you roll open into a twist and close. And then we'll roll over to the other side, hands together, knees together, and we'll open up and close up. You can let your knees slide apart. We're just kind of mobilizing our upper spine and our shoulders here, turning your head, letting your neck have some range. And then one more time to a big star on the ground, reaching your limbs really wide. Exhale, knees into your chest, pick up your head, and we'll roll to our side. Come up onto your hands and your knees. Okay. Finding all fours, and we'll start to move through some cat-cows, arching and rounding the spine, taking your time to feel your vertebrae mobilize. A full breath in, full breath out. Can you ripple through each vertebrae and enjoy? Try to enjoy all the mobility that you're creating. And then any kind of movement that feels good through your spine. You can move around in your ribs. You can move around in your neck. You can roll around in your pelvis. You can go side to side. Just figure out what kind of mobilization do you need to keep your spine as free as possible. Notice if you hold your breath, stay within your breath. All right, and then we'll drop back toward a child's pose. And we're going to do some moving childs here, kind of opening up our back and hips differently. So come back up onto all fours, tuck the tail under, round the spine, and drop back to a child's pose and notice. And then up, sit bones high, anterior tilt the pelvis back to a child's pose and notice. So it's a very different feeling in your back and hips depending on what your pelvis is doing. Back up, tuck tail, back to child's. Up you go. Lift tail. Back to child's. All right, come back up onto all fours. We're moving a little more fluidly than sometimes we do. And let's find our twist. Reach the left arm up in the air. Exhale, drop that shoulder down. Gaze toward the floor. Push the ground away a little bit deeper if you'd like, and spread the shoulder blades, letting the back body open up a little bit. Neck is at ease. And we'll face the floor. Now drop your hips back towards your heels a little bit more. Chest facing the ground. The arm is still underneath you. Drop your shoulders away from the ears and widen your collarbones. Finding breath. Opening up that shoulder. And then inhale, reach that arm back up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground and we'll switch sides. Arm up. Bring your arm under. A full twist. Press a little bit through your left hand to deepen the twist. Keep your neck relaxed and your head is on the ground. Breathe into the back of your body. See if you can spread open those muscles between your shoulder blades. All right, we'll turn toward the ground a little bit. Hips back toward the heels. Stretch the posterior capsule of your shoulder. Notice if your two sides feel similarly or differently. And then inhale, bring that arm all the way up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground and we'll lift to a dog pose. Take your time to find your way. And we'll pedal your feet. Breathing deeply. Feel the roots of your body drop and reach. Okay, so we yield and then we push off and we reach. Maybe you want to pedal your feet and open up those Achilles one more time. When your heel drops down, experiment with bending that same knee a little bit just to get into that soleus muscle as you go back and forth between your two sides. You know, what kind of range do you have in your ankles? And then we'll walk our feet forward, come to Uttanasana, let your head dangle and rest. Opening up the back line of the body, feel your hamstrings, your glutes. Everything's opening up a little bit. Inhale for a halfway lift, finding the length of your spine. Let's pause here for a moment. Maybe bring your hands up on some support so you can feel your quads lift, your femur bones lifting up into the hip sockets and back, and stretch through the backs of your knees. Open the backs of your legs. Spread the feet. Lift the sit bones. And then we'll exhale. And melt. Push through your feet, rising up, bringing the arms to the sky. And that will, not only have a full functional body movement, but we're going to add the proprioception of our nervous system involved in this too. So our eyes are going to move. So look up and then swan dive forward and look down. Bend your knees, relax your head. Push through your feet, rising back up. Look up. If you get dizzy or lightheaded, you can stop. We're going to do this twice more. Exhale, come down. Pushing through your feet, challenging that vagus nerve to be spot on, adjusting our blood pressure as we go up and down. One more time, rising up. Bring the arms to the sky, and then we'll cactus. Open the arms, spread your wings, hug your shoulder blades down and toward each other a little bit, and then exhale, chin to chest. Make a fist with your hands, push your fists forward, stretch between your shoulder blades. Inhale, up one more time, a little bit of a back bend, and then a big swan dive forward. Relax. Inhale for a halfway lift, opening up the spine. Exhale to release and melt again. Step back to a dog pose. Long spine as we start to notice how mobile we're becoming. Pay attention to how much full body movements you've been creating. Come forward into a plank. Start to feel all this stability. The ability to push is just as important as the ability to pull. So push the ground away. Feel the shoulder blades move away from the ears and the deep stability in the core of your body. Finding your breath. And then we'll put our knees down and release to the floor. Roll the shoulders a few times. Loosen any tension up that you have in your upper neck, shoulders. Inhale, cobra. Exhale to release. One more time. Rising up, feeling the front of our spine open. Exhale. And melt back down. Come up onto all fours and take your forearms down onto the ground for a forearm plank. So creating some stability here. We're going to lift our knees up, and you can always put your knees back down if you need. Shoulders away from the ears, and then just rock forward and back. Push off your toes forward and back. Make sure you're breathing. Ground through your arms. Push the ground, shoulders away from the ears. Our core is very stable. All right, and then put your knees down and stretch back to a child's pose. Long spine here. A full breath. Melt a bit. Walk the hands over to one side of your mat and stretch through the side of your body. Finding your breathing. Okay. Over to the other side. Notice your breath. A fullness and an emptiness. Okay. Let's come back up to a dog pose. Feeling that extension, root to rise. Knowing the ground, such an important aspect of our balance is our nervous system's awareness of our rootedness into the earth. All right, let's lift the right leg up in the air. Square hips, lift that left hip up and back. And then we'll open up the hip and stretch through the belly, through the side a little bit. Enjoy that. And then release that foot down, switching sides. Left leg up, square pelvis. Push off your hands, and we'll open up through the hip. Full breath in, full breath away. And then release that foot down onto the ground. Walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. Relax your neck. Inhale for a halfway lift, opening up through the spine. Exhale to relax down again. Push through your feet, rising up. And then trace down through the center of your body. Pause here for a moment. Discover your breath. Notice your feet. Notice your awareness of your whole being. We're going to take the right arm over the left arm, eagle arms. Drop your shoulders, widen your collarbones, lift your elbows. Just relax into the stretch across the tops of your shoulders. Breathe. And reach those arms up. Let's switch sides. Drop the shoulders. Wide collarbones. Lift the elbows up. And don't worry if this is hard on your shoulders. You can always hold the opposite shoulders instead of trying to hold fingers or palms. And release. And reach the arms all the way up. And all the way down. Pause in Tadasana for a moment. Just enjoy your breath. Let's bring our left foot back. We'll come into a lunge on this side. Just deepening into that mobility of our legs now. Okay, so open the hip flexors. Let the hips find their flexion and extension here. So we'll straighten the front leg and then bend it. Finding our way into, some mobilization not only of our joints, but of the fascia and the muscles, lengthening through our hamstrings and our hips. Put your back knee all the way down onto the ground. Open up through that hip flexor. Feel that extension lift on up. A full breath here. Feel your breath travel all the way to your pelvis if you can. Ground through your feet. And release your hands back down onto the blocks if they lifted. Lift your knee up off the ground. And we'll find our way to some balance. So reaching your arms up, crescent lunge. Find your breath. We'll do a little fluidity here. So deep breath in, cactus your arms, and as you exhale, press forward. If you feel like this is not a big challenge on your balance at all, try squinting your eyes or closing your eyes. One more time. How's your core? Is it here with you, for you? All right, and then reach on up. Crescent lunge. Look to the sky. Alter your vision line. Just starting to warm up our balance a bit. And then bring your back foot forward and fold. Give your body a chance to recognize, oh, it's so nice to be close to the ground. Let's step the other foot back. Come into a lunge and place your back knee on the ground. Just enjoy what this feels like to open up through the hip flexor a little bit more. Maybe coming up a little higher to see what feels nice. Enjoying lengthening that back hip into your right hip into some extension. And place your hands back down onto the ground. Lift your back knee up and we'll start to bend and straighten the front knee here. Where we just mobilize with our breath. Think of this as kind of fascial hydration system. Can you feel that? Can you feel how all the soft tissues in your body are loosening and warming? Ground yourself. Prepare yourself for balance. Push through your feet and rise up. Press and lunge. Now we're going to do some mobilization here. Open up on the in-breath, cactus. Exhale, press forward. Such functional movement. You could push a car or a piece of furniture. You could lift something up. You can keep yourself balanced. When we have these compound movements where we're moving multiple aspects of our body, It's very helpful for our functional patterning. Reach your arms back up, play with looking up. Feel that extension. Try not to compress your neck or your low back, but feel length. All right, and then bring your hands down back to a dog pose. Extend and open up the back body. Full breaths here. Come forward into a plank. And again, feel how stable your core creates, how much stability your core creates. Push the ground away. And then we'll find the earth. Bring your arms overhead or down at your sides, your choice. We're going to lift everything off the floor. Head, chest, arms, legs. Everything you can get up, get up. Keep the back of the neck long and breathe. Exhale, release to the ground. Put your head on your hands, pick up your feet, and windshield wiper your knees. Come back up onto all fours. One of the more simple balance practices, if you struggle with balance, is to do bird dog, because we're close to the ground and we have good contact. So left leg straight back, right arm out in front. Find that core. Push the ground away. Keep your neck neutral. Deep breath in. Exhale, elbow and knee underneath. Inhale and bring it long. Exhale. Underneath. Bring it long. This time we'll go out to the side. Hand and leg out to the sides. Toes down, thumb up. Push the ground. Use your core. And then back to the center line. Hand and knee onto the ground. And we'll switch sides. Right leg, left arm. Thumb up, toes down. Look at the ground. Engage your core. Press your shin into the ground. A deep breath in. Exhale underneath. Deep breath in, long. Exhale underneath. One more time. This time we'll go out. Left arm out to the left, right leg out to the right. Lifting it in the air, toes down, thumb up. Feel the core. Back to the neutral line, child's pose. Relax your hips, your back, your neck. Enjoy being close to the ground. Let's find our way up to a dog pose. Feeling that extension. And then walk your feet forward. Push through your feet one more time, rising up. Trace down through the center line. I was with somebody yesterday in their 80s and they dropped their car keys and couldn't reach down to pick them up off the ground. Went halfway down, got really wobbly. I had to go pick up the keys. So what do you want to be doing when you're 90? What independence do you want to cultivate and maintain for yourself? How's your yoga practice helping you? We're going to tip into our right foot and reach up into a standing star. Toes pointing forward, core is engaged. Keep breathing. I'm diving into a little bit of balance and stability. And then as you bring that foot down to the ground, find a chair pose, hands at your heart. Little tiny pulses here, like you want to push off the ground. And then a little bit of push all the way up onto our toes. Focus on something that doesn't move. Strong, healthy feet are a bedrock of our movement. Release your feet back down. Okay. We'll put our weight into our left foot and tip to the side. Doesn't matter how far you go. Core is here for you. Okay, so engage your outer hips, your core. Reach into space and also hug back in. Make sure you're breathing. And then come back, feet together, palms together, a few pulses here in our chair. And then up onto our toes. All right, and heels down onto the ground. Bring your arms down and just stand in Tadasana. Full breaths. Okay, one more balance pose here, and then we'll open our hips a little bit differently. So we're gonna have our right foot grounded deeply. We're gonna cross the left leg over. Squat like a chair. Because our right leg is on the bottom, we're gonna put our right arm on the top. Okay, so cross right over left, eagle pose. Face forward with your hips and shoulders. Let your peripheral vision take over. Lift your chest, lift your elbows, widen your collarbones, squeeze. Breathe broadly into your ribs. Inhale, unwind that pose to a standing star. Exhale and bring your feet back to neutral. Full breath. We'll stand on our left foot and cross the right thigh over. Our right leg's going to be on top, so our left arm is going to be on top. Drop the shoulders, collarbones broad, chest lifted, elbows lifted, squat. Breathe into the ribs, squeeze the legs, widen your feet. Let your peripheral vision take over. And then unwind the posture, a standing star. All right. And then release your hands down. Feel the ground again. Close your eyes if you'd like. Notice how close you are on the ground. Your feet are touching. Feel where your feet are touching. So we're going to take our feet to the wide edges of our mat, so a little wider than our hips, and come down to a squat. Now let's just do 3 push-offs here. So inhale up, exhale down. How's your breath? Now we're gonna stay down there. Lean forward a little bit, bring your arms way out in front of you, and then swim your arms back behind you. Ground into the 4 corners of your feet, swim your arms forward, swim your arms backward. Inhale, push. Rising up to a star. Hands come back down. Stand in Tadasana. And just notice sometimes when I do these poses, depending on how tired I am or how hydrated I am or fed I am, I can get dizzy from doing things like that. Maybe it feels really good. So, but when we challenge ourselves kind of within a parameter of safety and uh, comfortably uncomfortable, we really offer ourselves so much value. Your 100-year-old self is thanking you for today, for today's practice, for every day. Okay, let's turn to the long edge of your mat. Turn your feet out and let's come to a deep, wide squat. All right, so open up those inner thighs now. Ground into the four corners of your feet. Let your hips open up. And then inhale, come all the way up, a standing star, and we'll do 3 drops like goddess poses. So exhale, bring your arms down, squat into that deep squat, chest is lifted. Inhale, arms swim up. Exhale, arms down. Inhale, arms up. One more time. Open up your knees, widen them out, ground your feet, lift your chest. And then now we're going to come down there and stay. So you do whatever you want with your arms. Try not to tip forward. We're staying upright. Open up your knees, ground the four corners of your feet. Draw your shoulders back. Open your chest. Pulse a few times here. Just little mini pulses. And then the standing star. Find your breath. Release your hands down. All right, we'll just take one of the externally rotated standing poses. You choose. Would you rather do Virabhadrasana or would you rather do Parsvakonasana? Whichever one you'd rather do the opposite. Uh-oh, I just threw a curveball at you. All right, so go with the one you don't want to do. Force yourself sometimes to do things you don't like. This is also part of cultivating our movement. We don't always like what we have to do to keep ourselves healthy. So give yourself a chance to find something uncomfortable. Press into your feet. Breathing. Full inhales. Full exhales. And then we'll come on up, straighten the legs, same pose to the other side. Turn your left foot out, either Virabhadrasana, warrior pose, or Parsvakonasana. And notice, when I said do the one you didn't choose, what kind of reaction did your body have? Can you settle into that tapas, that being willing to endure strong sensation in the service of transformation, being willing to do the hard things to keep yourself healthy? Sometimes the hardest things show up in our mind, sometimes they show up in our body. How's your breath? Relax something. All right, well, straighten that leg, turn your feet forward, and come down to rest. So, moving toward recovery and rest, remembering that that's just as important as our efforting, our tapas. All right, we're going to turn back to the front side of your mat. Last of the dog poses. Feeling that extension, breathing. And then we'll come down into a child's pose. Let your body rest. Scan your body and notice if there was any joint that you can think of that maybe you didn't mobilize. Maybe open and close your jaw, stick out your tongue while you're here. Maybe turn your eyeballs in every direction. And just kind of scan and notice if there's anything you haven't touched, if there's any joint in the body that hasn't been mobilized, if there's any part of your fascial body that hasn't been hydrated. All right, take your blocks in front of you, stack them next to each other, put your elbows on them, palms together, stretch back to a child's. You can always curl your toes under if you need a little more height underneath you, and we'll drop our thumbs toward our spine. Opening up your lats and your triceps. Stretch here. And then we'll come back to center. Come onto your back. We're going to grab a block to rest our pelvis on. Okay. Feet on the ground. Lift your hips up. You can go lower middle height of block, or you can stack two blocks. Lots of choices here. You can keep your feet on the ground. If you're on a low block, you can straighten your legs. Just kind of find the easeful variation of a bridge that you're in the mood for right now. We're going to move towards stretching our legs and our hips in just a moment, but first just feel your pelvis breathe. See if you can let the breath travel all the way through your ribs, your belly, your pelvis. Now you can do this in one of two ways. You can keep the block under you, or you can remove it. We're going to come into a happy baby pose. If you keep the block, you might want to lower it down just a teeniest bit. And just feel that sense of traction of opening up the back. Drop your knees toward the ground. All right, lift your legs straight up in the air. Just have a couple of breaths of the waterfall of your fluids in your legs moving back toward your torso, toward your heart. If you struggle at all with Venus return, this is such a great practice to add to your practice. You can do it against a wall or in the air. Okay, we'll put our feet down, lift the pelvis back up. We're going to find a twist. Hips over to the right, knees up, drop them left. Let your spine open. Turn your head in opposition of your knees and breathe. The knees come back up. Scoot your hips to the left, knees up, and drop them to the right. Twist your head left.
And lift your knees back up, neutral spine again. Roll to your right side, grab onto your left ankle, and just open your quadricep. Did a lot with the quads today, just see what it feels like to open that up. You can always put a block under your head for some support, or just rest on your arm. Stabilize your pelvis. Keep your knee in line with your hip as you draw that thigh bone back. And bring the knees back up. Roll to the other side and grab onto the right ankle. Stretching your right quad, keeping your pelvis stable. Stack your shoulder over your shoulder, your hip over your hip. Keep your knee in line with your hip. Draw your whole thigh back. Relax onto your back. Put your right foot on your left knee or cross your right thigh over your left thigh for a reverse pigeon pose. Either hold the back of your left hamstring with your hands or the front of your left shin. If you feel like your neck kind of does a weird bend, put something under your head, stick a blanket under your head. And opening up your hip. Relax your shoulders. Soften into the ground. We're about to move into Shavasana, where we get to deeply surrender. So let your mind begin that process of just dropping your body weight, dropping your sense of tension or awareness in your skull. Melt what you can. Switch sides when you're ready. Left foot on right knee or left thigh over right thigh. Hold behind, interlace your fingers the other way. Hold behind your thigh or the front of your shin. Relax. Put your feet on the ground. Is there anything else you need? If so, do it. And if not, come to Shavasana. Now you might decide you need some support underneath your knees or your head. You might want to be on your side or your legs up on a chair. You could do a child's pose over a bolster. Shavasana doesn't have to look like just lying flat on your back. It can be anything that feels deeply nourishing and restful to you. As you get comfortable in whatever position you're in, drop your body weight. Be conscious about it. Let your head drop, your shoulders, your chest, your spine, your back, your arms, your pelvis, your legs. Soften your entire face. Your jaw is free, your eyes are free, your cheeks are free. The breath is free. Let's begin to deepen our breathing again. Take your time, and always, of course, you can ignore me and just be here for as long as you'd like. But if you're ready to transition, begin to move your body in small or big ways, whatever way nourishes and refreshes you. Take your time when you come onto your side to move slowly as you transition. As you find your way to a comfortable seat, let's just take a moment to recognize the deposit in the bank, of your well-being, your mind, your body, your spirit. Having gratitude for the fruits of our practice, the way we embody and cultivate presence and patience, adaptability, the nourishment of our physical body and its health, the nourishment of our breath, our mental health, all the things, all the blessings of our practice. Let's have gratitude. And then send some of this energy outward to another. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.